the call today to learn some more about the Northwest Territories. Any questions after my presentation, I'm more than happy to answer them as I go through slide by slide. So this is the team here that looks after the travel trade. It's myself on the right and my colleague Tori, who is actually based in Yellowknife, and either of us can be contacted, but I'm your local representative on Australia time that you can reach out to at any time for any questions that you may have on the Northwest Territories. And let's start with where we are and getting here. So highlighted in the green is the Northwest Territories. We're located centrally in between the Yukon on the left and Nunavut on the right, and above British Columbia and Alberta and Saskatchewan. We might not be as known as a lot of other places in Canada, but as you can see, it's quite a large chunk of land mass. Now, Air Canada flies 4 days per week to Vancouver ex-Melbourne, daily from Sydney and Brisbane, and from Vancouver there is regular connections on Air Canada into Yellowknife, but then also from Calgary, you can fly twice daily on Air Canada into Yellowknife also. Other airlines, for those who are as not familiar, for the Vancouver service, and New Zealand flies daily ex-Australia to Auckland, connecting onto Vancouver, and the stopover in Auckland's no more than 3 hours. And then there's Qantas that operates in the winter months only. They have ceased their operation for summer, for June, July, for 2019. However, Qantas noted that they are looking at picking it up again in 2020, and Qantas's partner to get up to Yellowknife is WestJet, who fly out of the Calgary area. So a good combination there for Western Canada when you're looking at piecing together a puzzle of itineraries in the west of Canada. This just shows you the airports and where you can do it. So it's a good little map to refer to when you're looking at the location and connectivity. So this slide here, this shows the regions that I'll be presenting on today. They're North Slave, which is Yellowknife, which is the capital, and the Western Arctic, right up in the northern part of the Northwest Territories, and the Decho, which is home to Nahanni National Park, an area I'm sure many of you may not have heard of, so I like to share some little surprises of new products that you might not be aware of that you can add on to some amazing Aurora viewing. So let's talk about the seasons now for Aurora viewing. The Northwest Territories are known for their stunning Aurora, and there are 2 Aurora seasons. The first is summer and fall season, which occurs from mid-August throughout September. During this season, you'll see the beautiful fall colours as well, and of the Aurora dancing across the skies. And the second season is winter, and this is the longest season to see the lights, that runs from late December to early April. And the reason why we don't typically promote Aurora, say, October and November, that's because the snow starts to fall, and there's a lot of overcast and very little Aurora viewing when it's overcast and snowy. During the 2 seasons, though, that we do have the viewing, there's approximately a 97% chance of seeing the Aurora, which is higher than anywhere else in the world. So really a good chance to see the Aurora in the Yellowknife area. So these next few slides are taken directly from a report provided to us by Astronomy North. They have partnered with the Canadian Space Agency and the University of Alberta to monitor the Aurora in the Northwest Territories, and they've provided the science behind the Aurora to us to share with our key partners. So when we say that the viewing is amazing in the area, we actually have the science to back up our statements. This slide is pretty telling. Yellowknife is the highest band of Aurora activity. The reason for Yellowknife being known as the Aurora capital of the world is explained in this chart. Specifically, the location of Yellowknife, it's situated underneath the Aurora Oval with the highest percentage of seeing the lights due to its proximity inland away from the ocean and located on flat land away from mountains and where it's generally free of overcast and cloud, which normally is caused by moisture in the air. This chart, you'll see data from 2010 to 2016, and this tells us the peak months for Aurora viewing are January, February and March, which happens to be our coldest month, so that's your winter when the skies are really clear. And as I mentioned before, like October area timing, no surprise, it's the least likely month to see the Aurora due to the warmer temperatures in the air, cooler ground temperatures, and then of course your November when it's starting to snow. And then at the bottom of this chart, you'll be able to identify the best times of viewing the Aurora, which are 11 p.m. till 3 a.m. And when I get to the parts about tours, and you'll see that that's when a lot of the tours take place during those hours to maximise opportunities for guests to see the aurora. So the Northwest Territories are separated up by 5 regions. Today I'll be taking you through 3 key regions, starting with Yellowknife, located in the region of North Slave. Yellowknife is the capital of the Northwest Territories and home to Great Slave Lake, the deepest lake in North America and the 8th largest fresh body water in the world. In winter, this lake freezes over and connects many regions that become the ice road. So if you've ever seen the show Ice Road Truckers, that is all from this region here and this great lake that freezes over. So while it's just below the Arctic Circle, Yellowknife is still very much considered off the grid, but it doesn't mean they're a sleepy and solar-powered town. There's running water, electricity, heating, police, a local government, shops, museums, great restaurants. Many restaurants have from a variety of local pubs that brew their own beer to delicacies, caught from fresh fish from Slave Lake, international cuisine, Japanese, Korean, Ethiopian, Indian, Chinese. It's all there in this little town. So you're not flying up into an area where the facilities are limited. There's quite a lot available. In terms of aurora viewing facilities in the Yellowknife area, I'll be taking you through two options for your guests. There's options which I'll start with here where the tour companies come and pick your guests up from hotels in downtown Yellowknife and take you out to viewing areas. And they're usually only 10 to 15 minutes out of town. They're all very, very close. They pick you up anytime from 9:30 onwards and take you out and usually drop you back between around 1 a.m. in the morning. So you're there to see the aurora viewing. And the viewing places I'll take you to all are unique and different in what they offer. So starting here with Aurora Village. Unfortunately, your guests cannot sleep overnight in these teepees that you see on your screen for now. They are actually working on something for the future. But instead, each group is assigned their own private teepee for the duration of aurora viewing of the tour, which is generally 4 hours long, and the option to extend if they choose. Aurora Village is on a massive amount of acreage, so they cap visitation at 250 guests, but you don't feel like you're on top of someone because it's so spread out. There's also a private dining room, which serves a beautiful local cuisine, a licensed bar, a gift shop. They're really export-ready displays, and they also offer dog sledding and snowshoeing in the day. It's a great location that offers aurora viewing in both our seasons of summer and fall and winter. Another option in the Yellowknife area is aurora hunting. Some suppliers offer this service where they pick you up from the hotel in a small heated vehicle and they chase the aurora down from different parts of the city limits. Some operators also have their own private single tent viewing locations that they'll take you out to view aurora hunting. This is more your mobile, where if your guests don't want to be stationed, they can use this option. And there's also the option where you think too when you're packaging Yellowknife, all these different aurora options to combine. You could do Aurora Village one night, aurora hunting another night, and then or a different viewing station. Here's another example. This is Aurora Station. This facility is located only 15 minutes outside Yellowknife. It's a heated lodge with a capacity for up to 360 guests because it's on a large amount of land again. And they have a viewing observation deck, reclining seats, and another great viewing location in the Yellowknife area. This one here is Aurora Island Lodge. A lot of the wholesalers currently sell this one now. It's quite popular. Aurora Island Lodge is, again, like these other places, both seasons of aurora for us, your fall and summer and your winter. So in the autumn and fall season, you access this lodge via boat on Slave Lake, and in the winter it's on a snowcat as pictured in this image. The lodge has 2 viewing observation decks and inside a fireplace, lounge, kitchen, dining area where they'll serve beverages. So you would have your dinner before you actually went out to the lodge because, again, it's a later transfer from 9:30 onwards going out to this facility. It takes about approximately 20 minutes in the winter on snowcat. Transfers are again available from your accommodation, and in winter this company also rent out clothing for you, and they actually do have some rustic cabins out there if you had some guests that in the Yellowknife area don't want to do a fly-in, fly-out lodge, but may want a bit of a wilderness experience, this lodge does have them. But they are basic. They are simply bunk-type beds with bathrooms outside of the cabin. So please bear that in mind. It's not like some of the fly-in, fly-out lodges I will share with you, but definitely an option in the Yellowknife area for your guests looking for this. This operator also offers ice fishing and snowmobile tours as well as Yellowknife city tours. So I talked about fly-in, fly-out lodges. Everybody might be familiar with a lot of the options in British Columbia for viewing bears. Well, in the Northwest Territories, it's very similar for us, except you're viewing the Aurora. You're flying in by a float plane, and you are travelling to a lot of lodges that are considered off the grid, operate on solar. So the facilities vary from lodge to lodge and what they offer, and some are both seasons. Well, actually only one is both seasons, and all the others are primarily our summer for viewing. So starting here with Blatchford Lake Lodge. It's one of the most popular lodges that we have currently being sold in Australia. And Blatchford is a 20-minute float plane ride from Yellowknife. All meals are provided, and the lodge features guest rooms and a main lodge. 5 private cabin lodges have a sink and a toilet in them, but the showers are in the main lodge. And during the day, guests can use seasonal equipment from snowshoes, skis, skates, fat bike hikes, and ice fishing. And then in the summer, you've got canoes, kayaks, stand-up paddleboards, lots of activities. This lodge is very export ready and caters for all seasons. They also have a lot of Indigenous handicraft activities that you can get involved in. Only last month they hosted traveller.com.au, that's the Sydney Morning Herald and the Age's digital site, and you can see a picture that the digital editor Craig Platt took there himself just from standing outside his lodge at Blatchford. A little bit of nice endorsement there from Craig on this beautiful lodge. Another of our fly-in, fly-out lodges is Yellow Dog Lodge. And unlike Blatchford, they don't offer both Aurora viewing seasons, so this one is just August and September. Now, Yellow Dog Lodge, in their rooms, they have a flush toilet and a sink, but the showers, again, are in the main lodge. Their packages are a minimum 3-night stays. They do have one cabin if you have a larger group that sleeps up to 6 that actually has full bathrooms, so private shower, bath, sink, flush toilet, all in this cabin of 6. They also have a really unique experience with a floating tent on a barge. It's like they're glamping on a barge, and there they've got chemical toilets just outside the barge, which are flush toilets, and then the shower is in the main lodge. It's a really unique experience, though, to see the Aurora from a glamping on a barge. Some more images of Yellowknife Yellow Dog Lodge. I mentioned, just like Blatchford, all meals, housekeeping, linen, all is included, and they also have a lot of day activities and offers, particularly around nature trails with Yellow Dog Lodge, but there's canoes, kayaks, paddle boats. Now, a lot of these lodges, too, that I'm going to be moving forward into, they're actually fishing lodges that extend unique Aurora packages as well. So there's a lot of fishing if you have guests who are interested in fishing. Peterson Lake Lodge is one of those, highly renowned for fishing throughout the summer, but they've also now extended their season to offer guests Arctic photography and Aurora photography packages, guiding guests on how best to capture Arctic wildlife and on film, and also the Aurora on film. So they have professional guests to scout out for wildlife both on the boat and by foot, and it's suitable for all levels of photographers. Their packages are August to early September. Again, a fly-in, fly-out lodge, and packages range from 3 to 7 days. Now, with this lodge itself, the accommodation-wise, they have a main lodge which can be open where people can share. But for Australia, I recommend that we focus on their quad share guest cabins. So 4 people, which these cabins come with either single beds or queen beds, and the bathroom facilities at this lodge are basic. They are outside on the deck area, or you have an outhouse. So there is no sink, toilet in the actual cabin room. It is out on, it's private, but it is out on the porch area. So this cabin is this lodge, and it's beautifully appointed, and all the facilities are lovely. But I'd just like to emphasise that, because I do know Australians ask a lot about the bathrooms, but they really have the best photography of Arctic wildlife and Aurora viewing tours. So if your guests don't mind so much about the bathroom facilities, this is a great one to choose. There's two coming soon to market, which I'm really excited to share with you. And that's because these two fishing lodges are again expanding into Aurora. And what's unique about them is their location. The two lodges that I'm bringing to market soon, they're fly in, fly out. They both have full bathrooms in every single cabin. So you'll have shower, toilet and sink in every single cabin they offer. So that's big for us with being so remote and off the grid. That's what they offer. But their location also includes a lot more wildlife in the areas that they are located. So if I am pronouncing it correctly, because it is new, La Granate Lodge is one, and pictured on the screen here. And the other one coming very soon is Frontier Lodge. And you can see both beautiful lodges, very well, very export ready, full chef service, and these beautiful private cabins that are going to have full bathroom facilities available for the Australian traveller. So that wraps up your fly-in, fly-out lodges. But for those guests that just want to view the Aurora only 10 minutes out of town and don't want to go to a remote off-the-grid lodge, we have great accommodation in downtown Yellowknife that you can choose from. Chateau Nova is one of the newest hotels in Yellowknife. There's 141 rooms. It's the largest hotel. They have great dining facilities and on-site restaurants, and all 5-minute walking distance to downtown Yellowknife. Yellowknife is a very flat little town, so it's easy to walk around from restaurant to restaurant and hotel to hotel if you choose. And otherwise, there is, of course, a taxi service to get you around as well. But yes, this is a great property. And the Explorer Hotel is another, probably the most popular of all the hotels. This one, again, I think I mentioned in the Blatchford Lake Lodge Fly and Fly Out Lodge that William and Kate stayed there on their honeymoon. If I didn't, I'll add that. But they also stayed here at the Explorer Hotel. They've got everything from deluxe rooms to signature suites with kitchenettes. Very popular hotel in the heart of town. For guests looking for some apartment-style accommodation in Yellowknife, Capital Suites have great apartments, one bedroom, 2-bedroom type apartments, very close to downtown, kitchenettes, really good for families looking for self-contained stays. And the other property I'm touching on is our leading property, just the most affordable hotel and suites, which is the Days Inn and Suites. 3-star property, very, very spacious rooms in this hotel. And again, very close to downtown, walking distance. So if your clients were looking for a lead-in price, this is a great property to choose from. My next slide covers winter clothing rentals. In the winter months to view your Aurora, so your January through to March, you really need to make sure that you have winter clothing purchased as a rental for the entire time they're there. You can get to -40 in this area, and general ski gear won't cut it. You need to get the Canada Goose winter clothing that a lot of the suppliers provide and included in your client's rental. Everything from parkas, pants and snow boots. So all the local providers offer this, and I highly recommend that you include this in the package for your clients. So I'm often asked what's there to do in the day because you're viewing Aurora at the night time. Starting with winter, there's a lot to keep you busy. Dog sledding, snowmobile tours, ice fishing, ice road tours, ice cave tours, snow showing, igloo building, and they have a big snow castle tour as well that they build it out on Slave Lake. So lots to do there in winter to fill for your clients' activities. And then in the summer and fall time, Yellowknife City tours are fantastic. Hiking out to Cameron Falls, pictured there, is really, really beautiful. There's a boardwalk and takes you out into the nature area. Northwest Territories Diamond Centre to understand the history of the diamond mining in the area. There's the Prince of Wales Northern Heritage Centre. You could take a guided tour of the Legislative Assembly building and enjoy the cafe scene and the brewing companies like the Northwest Territories Brewing Company. What to do? So that was pretty much a summary of your Yellowknife area and surrounds in the North Slave region. Now I'll move you further north to the Western Arctic region and the furthest regions of the Northwest Territories. Communities that may be familiar in this region are Inuvik and Tuktoyaktuk. This is the true Arctic up here in the furthest area of the Northwest Territories. I should have moved to that map. I apologize. I'm looking at two screens as I try and explain to you. But this map shows you a little bit more where Inuvik and Tuk are, right up there on the Arctic Ocean. And this region is also home to the famed Dempster Highway, which originates in Dawson City in the Yukon. And one of our operators, Tundra North Tours, up in Inuvik, offers some tours of the Dempster Highway, where they will take you down part of the Dempster Highway for those looking for some type of a self-drive tour in this area. And in November 2017, a new highway was opened from Inuvik, which you can see on the map, all the way to the small community of Tuk. So people can actually dip their toes for the first time in the Arctic Ocean and drive there should they wish to do that, or take a tour with one of our really experienced tour providers up in this region called Tundra North Tours. They're based in Inuvik and they offer many niche Arctic experiences, including the famed Arctic Reindeer Signature Package. You can visit a herd of 3,000 reindeer and visit the Arctic Ocean with this company. Their 4-day Arctic adventure, you'll experience all local people and what they have to offer. You'll travel along a snowmobile to the reindeer herds. They've crossed this area for years and years, and there's a lot of beautiful history stories to be told by this tour company. It's a winter experience, so January to April departures, and I do know that Natural Focus Safaris and also Memento Travel are currently selling this experience now. Many others are starting to also load it after it was promoted at Canada Corroboree recently. So an area now that I'll take you to that I'm sure many of you will not have heard of. It's the Ditcho region of the Northwest Territories, and it's very popular in summer due to it being home to Nahanni National Park Reserve. The most popular way to access Nahanni National Park is by float plane using Fort Simpson as your base. So looking at this map here, this slideshow shows you a road map of this region. Fort Simpson is the entry point to Nahanni. This is Fort Simpson here on the screen. This is where you would base yourself to get into this spectacular national park, and you fly there with Simpson Air in and out over to Nahanni National Park to see the famous Virginia Falls. And what makes Virginia Falls so spectacular? This park sees less than 1,000 visitors a year, and it's only accessible via air travel or boat. And to give you some perspective, these waterfalls pictured on the screen, they're double the height of Niagara Falls in Ontario. So taking a tour of this park and these falls is via a float plane. They land you above the falls. You enjoy a 30-minute walk around the falls on a well-maintained boardwalk. And there's also trails at the base of the falls, depending on your time, where you can walk around. And for those truly adventurous and want to stay actually in Nahanni National Park, there's multi-day rafting and canoeing tours that are a camp. Otherwise, as mentioned, you go back to Fort Simpson for your base where you'll stay overnight. And this just shows you some of the spectacular rocks and peaks and valleys and rivers in Nahanni National Park. This is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and a beautiful add-on for your summer and for Aurora packages in the Yellowknife area. So new itineraries. How do we settle the Northwest Territories with Western Canada or any other places in Canada that are very popular for Australians? A handful of our operators that are selling the region have put together some packages that you can consider to make it easier for you. Adventure World has put together a winter ice bubbles package and Aurora package. So the ice bubbles are in Banff National Park. They're the methane gases that freeze under the lake, Lake Abraham. They fly you on a helicopter out there, see the ice bubbles, stay in the park for a week, and then fly up to Yellowknife from Calgary, where you will stay for 3 nights and experience the Aurora. All the operators start their packages as a Yellowknife experience, so Aurora Village, Aurora Hunting, Aurora Station, or Aurora Island Lodge to view it, but you can upgrade to a fly-in, fly-out lodge with all these operators as well. Natural Focus Safaris at Corroboree this year launched the Reindeer Crossing in Inuvik. That was with the Tundra North Tours package. They also packaged this up with the Rockies. So a winter wonderland in Banff National Park, flying up then from Calgary into Inuvik via Yellowknife and experiencing the reindeer crossing that I mentioned. Memento Travel has a wide variety. Pretty much everything I've touched on in my presentation, Yellowknife, Nahanni, Fort Simpson, the Mackenzie River, and Inuvik, they have packaged a lot of product for the Northwest Territories, and they have a lot of their flyers on their site. So, they sell a lot of the lodges, Peterson Lake, Yellow Dog Lodge, Blatchford Lake Lodge, so a lot of packages. I couldn't list as much as they're actually carrying at the moment. Canada and Alaska Travel Connection by the entire travel group, they've actually got a Rocky Mountaineer package with the Northern Lights. It's a September departure for this year where there's availability on Rocky Mountaineer. Goes into your national parks, Banff, Jasper, includes Vancouver, and then also 3 nights in Yellowknife to view the Aurora with the option again to upgrade to a fly and play out lodge. So they have space on their September departure for that itinerary they're promoting. Adventure Destinations has some amazing self-drive options where they offer motorhome suggestions, including the Dempster Highway, and they also offer your Blatchford Lake Lodge. So they're really good for your summer self-drive options. And something you might not have thought of before, which we've launched new in the market, is aligning with some of our ski tour operators. So Ski Max Snow and Ski Travel Plan, who are renowned for selling ski holidays in British Columbia and Alberta, they're now looking at packaging up Yellowknife Aurora viewing options following a ski package. They're starting with Banff because it makes the most sense to having Air Canada flying twice daily from Calgary. They only fly once daily from Vancouver. So if you did have some people using Calgary as a gateway and looking at skiing in the area of Banff National Park or anywhere throughout Western Canada, that's another option, selling the Aurora that way, because it is a winter product. A lot of people don't realise that you have it in January through to March, as well as our August and September. I've just listed there too some other operators that sell us, if they're your preferred, Forward Travel, Qantas Viva Holidays, Infinity Holidays and Expedia. They have some basic Aurora viewing options also, and are looking to build on more diversity as well. So I will have some videos later to share with you all because they don't share very well on webinar. But if you have any questions, I'd like to hand you back now to Charlie and open the floor. And otherwise, this will be recorded. And I hope that I was able to teach you something new on the Northwest Territories to sell some great Aurora packages. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Lizzie. I'm sure everybody did learn something new, that's for sure. So many great new products, just so much to learn there. It's great to hear that there are actually 2 Aurora seasons, so knowing that you can add it to essentially a summer itinerary in August, September, but also add it to a winter itinerary, like you say, with adding on to ski packages, is just it actually gives you so much flexibility to add Aurora to a Canada trip. Thank you.
No problem.
So the floor is open for questions, everybody. If you do have any, please type them into the chat box and I will read those out for Lizzie. So any questions there, please type them in. I'm sure everyone's overwhelmed with all the information that you just gave them. So just organising their thoughts and what they might like to know. Of course, as Lizzie mentioned, this webinar is recorded, so you can watch it again. I will also send out a copy of the PDF slides from Lizzie as well via Dropbox, because those files are quite big. So you will get a copy of the presentation. You've got Lizzie's email address on the screen there, and of course you will hear from both of us. So plenty more opportunities to ask some questions. There's nothing coming through the chat box, so we will leave it there. And yeah, just let us know when you need anything. Oh no, Karen says she's trying to find a website for Aurora Lake Lodge.
Aurora Island Lodge, maybe? Is she talking about Aurora Island?
Maybe Aurora Island Lodge. Karen, see if you can find that one. Or if Lizzie maybe I think
I'll just open my screen. Is this the one, Aurora Island Lodge? It would be under Yellowknife Outdoor Adventures.
Yellowknife Outdoor Adventures. There you go, Karen. But maybe Lizzie will include some of those links in her
Mhm.
follow-up as well.
Mhm.
So, all right, thank you. Joe says, brilliant update. Nadine says, thanks, Lizzie. Karen says, yes, that's the one. Matthew, very informative, thank you. Brilliant, thank you. Rolf says, very useful presentation, thanks. So lots of great feedback there for this presentation. Thank you, everybody. And thank you once again, Lizzie. And everybody, have a great day.
Yes, thank you, everybody, for joining the call.